Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. This week, we're continuing watching turkey films with the amazing smash hit Velocipastor. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is
Father, son, Velociraptor. Hey guys, it's Prague.
Keeping the faith like Ben Stiller and Ed Norton, this is DeLorean Wolfgang.
Nice.
Hold on, can we say my God? Yeah, because
you heathen. Heathen, yes, you can.
We watched something this week.
Sure did.
Oh,
turkeys. God. Thank you for the suggestion, whoever it was. That was a turkey.
It was Kelly.
For sure.
At
Kelly, thank you, Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this turkey, this bountiful meal that we devoured.
Before the show, we were talking about how fast November's going, and no joke, I wish it would move faster because I'm hating this turkeys movies thing. I'm hating it.
And then the passage of time, this movie, it says it's only 70 minutes. It felt like it was about 6 hours.
Yeah.
Ever.
It felt like an epic. Like a giant turd you take that just never ends.
It felt like it was going to end multiple times, and it just never did. I don't... is our spoiler free? Just...
There's no... You can't spoil bad movies.
Okay.
Probably not, right? What are you going to say? We should probably tell people what we're doing this month, like what the purpose is. And
yeah,
I guess that's me, right?
Yes.
So we decided this month, since it's Thanksgiving month, to talk about turkeys, which would be like bad films, whether they're intentionally bad or bad because the filmmaker doesn't know what they're doing or what have you. They're old and outdated. Anything that's considered a turkey, we want to review and see what we think about it. Is it funny and fun to watch? Is it really bad and you don't want to watch it ever again? Can you see why it's bad? Maybe you think it's better than it is. We'll discuss that. We'll see how that is. And today we're doing Velocipastor.
So with Velocipastor, when you look at the movie poster alone is like, okay, this has potential. This looks cool. The movie poster looks great. You get
they probably
none
spent
of
more
that.
money on the poster than they did on the entire film, is my guess. Which is fine. I mean, it's a bad film. You expect that, right? You expect not much money to be thrown at this.
Well, here's the problem that I have with this movie, though, is that it is purposely bad. Like, it's almost like they watched Sharknado and was like, I bet we can make a worse movie.
I think my biggest issue with this movie wasn't that it was bad. I wasn't even angry watching it. Like sometimes, like if a movie is really bad, I get like angry that I'm watching this movie. I was bored.
Right.
I've never been so bored watching anything in my entire life, including like I shouldn't say this on air, but certain people's recitals that I've had to attend.
Oh.
It's even more boring than that. So. And there are times where I just like would drift away and start looking out the window, like wondering if a plane would come into my house and kill me, but it never did. So I just kept having to watch this, whatever this was.
Prague's going through some dark times, people. Reach out to him.
Like, if it were bad, I would be like, okay, this is kind of campy fun. And it wasn't. It was just boring. Like, there were scenes where it would just linger on someone's face for like 5 minutes for no reason. I'm like, this isn't bad. This is just boring. I just felt pity
like I was
for
saying,
the filmmaker.
It was purposely bad. Like, they made this
I know.
intentionally to make it... No, and I know you know. I'm just saying just so I can create more dialogue throughout this hour episode.
We're trying to fill the time.
Hopefully filling some time here. But when I think of a bad movie, I think of movies like The Room that was not purposely made to be bad. It was made to be a film.
Right.
And this was made to be bad. Like, they were going for, hey, I want this to be like The Room. I want people to watch this at midnight viewings and laugh and ha ha ha. It wasn't funny. Like, they tried to make it funny, like bad funny, and it wasn't even that.
That's what's interesting about this movie, is because it's one thing of other turkeys we talk about, but to have that, there's different turkeys, and so this is a different classification where you go out of your way and you make it as bad as possible. And so it's a different designation, and I still don't know what the designation is, because you could make a good parody film of like an action movie, but this isn't like a good parody.
No.
I don't even know what the classification of this movie is.
I would put this with all of the Sharknadoes. I feel like when Sharknado came out, they were like, let's make stupid stuff as cheaply as possible and hope that Netflix picks it up. Like,
I feel like
I
this
think
is
with
below that.
Sharknado, it's a whole thing on Sci-Fi though. You know, they have Croctopus and they have, all kinds of those. That's just what Sci-Fi does, and those movies still put in some effort. This movie, all of their effort said, okay, in this scene, let's shake the camera stupidly. Let's tell the actor to be as obnoxious as possible. And I don't know what that counts as.
So here's what I felt the whole time watching this. It reminded me of all the student films I had to watch in film school.
It does look
that
like
were
a student film. Yeah.
Horrendous to sit through. Like you would have to sit through them because like at the end of this season or at like some film festival, you're stuck in a theater for like 3 hours watching everyone's student films. And once in a while you would get a good one, but most of them were just god awful and full of in jokes, like jokes that only the friends knew, which is what this felt like. A lot of the jokes felt like jokes that probably just a handful of the people that knew the director like knew the joke, but no one else would get it. So they kept lingering on these jokes for so long. I'm like, why are they doing this? I'm like, oh, I bet it's that. I bet it's like, the group of cinephiles that made this movie were, had some kind of running joke among them and they had to throw it in the movie 20 times.
Right, but
that's what this felt like.
I mean, yeah, because we were looking in from the outside, we don't understand what's going on. We don't understand that there's these inside jokes. I didn't even look at it like it was an inside joke type of movie. I just looked at it like, my God, this is so bad that, my God, this is so bad. I can't bring myself to ever want to suggest this movie to anybody. And I know, here's the worst part. I know there's people out there who actually enjoyed this movie and thought that it was great, and thought it was fun and funny. Dude, you're wrong.
It has almost full stars
need that
on
as
Amazon.
A t-shirt. Dude, you're wrong.
Dude, you're wrong. Secondary heroes.
I mean, it was just cringy. Like I felt so bad, It's like a little kid that tried really hard to like make something.
I would rather watch
a good bad movie, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So a good bad movie, Troll. Troll was great.
Sure.
I'd even say The Room, which is infamously known as the worst movie ever made, is better than this. So
on many levels.
Yeah,
on many levels. Yeah.
Even those sci-fi movies, which they're just on like Saturday mornings on Sci-Fi, and they have like 10 different monster things that are attacking submarines or have terrible CGI, but the acting is over the top. It's hilarious. Where they're just like going all in. This was never funny. There wasn't one sequence where the guy was funny or any sequence was funny, and I just was like, you can overact and make something bad that's funny. I don't know how you go and make something so boring, to Prague's point.
Yeah,
it's easy to make things bad that are funny. How do you go and go past that? And it's just like, okay, yeah, I get the idea. You're making it bad and it's not funny. Now I have to sit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. The plot of the movie supposedly is that the priest becomes a velociraptor, right? Like that's that from looking at the poster, right? That idea is great. But like it gets convoluted and it feels like someone wrote this, like whoever did write it, just wrote it within like 15 minutes when he was super high and drunk one night and was making stuff up as he went. It's like, here's this, here's that. There's points in the movie where we go into other people's flashbacks for no reason that have nothing to do with the story. And they're just in there for some reason to like be another gag. Like to me, the way it was filmed, even like the way it looked and was presented felt like a really bad SNL sketch. Like one of those bad, like 5-minute SNL sketches that they have, but stretched out for an hour and 10 minutes.
You know what?
Like
before we go any farther,
yes.
Before we go any farther, let's do our socials real quick. You can check out, you can listen to all of our episodes over on crossthestreamsmedia.com. You will find links to all of our social media as well as leave a review for us. Not even just leave a review. You can leave a voicemail for us as well, which is very fun. Where you can leave suggestions, feedback, questions, hot takes, whatever you want. Trevor's playing with a dinosaur head. It's great. If you're listening on iTunes, that is. Is iTunes around? Anyways, all of that is on crossthestreamsmedia.com. If you don't want to listen on Cross the Streams Media, you can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Secondary Heroes everywhere. And watch us over on YouTube, because on YouTube you can like and subscribe. And let me tell you, that algorithm helps us when you click that like. So please click that like, because if you did not, actually, you know what? If you didn't like this movie, hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it. You agree with us. But hey, if you don't like what we think of the movie, don't hit the thumbs down. Leave a comment. Let
us know.
Let us know why you actually enjoyed this movie, because I'm actually curious to hear from the people who like this movie. That's more what I'm looking for at this point, because this was god awful. Anyways, all this is free for you, and it's priceless to us.
So when you were talking about god awful, I was thinking of that Geico commercial where there's like the 4 teenagers and they're running away from the killer, and the lady's like, why don't we get in the running car? And they're like, no, that's stupid. They go into like the axe garage. That's funnier than any sequence in this entire movie.
I feel like we should go through maybe a little bit of the movie just so people know what we're talking about with a lot of this.
Do I even know what I'm talking? I saw the film and I'm not too sure what happened. But yeah,
Trevor's the freshest out of the box on this one.
Yeah, I kept.
It was a
try to watch this until literally, there was no other choice. It's like 6:20. We're gonna record at 7:30. I'm like, damn it.
Fine, I'll do it.
Well, and I thought this was the movie that we were gonna watch last week for last week's episode.
That's
so I watched
this last week. This week.
So I ended up watching 2 bad movies in 1 week, which was terrible for me.
Aw, but it'll make other films better for you, so it'll be worth it.
It made that Ryan Reynolds and The Rock movie on Netflix pretty damn good.
Oh boy,
I actually had a lot of fun with that movie. What is it, Red Notice or something? Anyways, we're not talking Red Notice.
We're not.
No, we're not, because if we talked about other movies, this might have been better than Black Widow, but that's a different podcast.
Never saw it.
Wow.
Don't even know.
Anyways, this movie was a try hard the movie.
I'll sum it up.
Okay.
Pastor becomes Velociraptor, and then for some reason, interestingly enough, there's this like Christianity like warrior ninja guys who are trying to give cocaine to everyone, so that way they get hooked on cocaine, then they cut the supply, and so they're desperate for any kind of savior, and then they turn to Christianity. It was actually, I liked that element of the story.
You explaining that, you just explained that so much better than this entire movie did.
I had no idea that happened in the movie, so I'm thank you for telling me that. Yes,
they waited until almost the end to kind of give that explanation rather than the start, because a lot of this is the pastor trying to deal with the idea that he can kill people, or he essentially meets this girl Carol, and she convinces him, a prostitute who's going to school, and she's going to school as for a doctorate and lawyer, even though she obviously should focus on that doctor aspect and focus on a psychology degree, because she convinces this pastor everything. No matter what she said, he was full on board. He gave up his entire faith and his entire existence to go now kill people as a Velociraptor, because it betters the world. You're going to have more impact as a Velociraptor than you ever were as an actual pastor, which that's sad commentary on society in its own right, but
it is. But it also could have been a really funny premise for a decent movie, and they just dropped the ball. And here's the thing, like this kind of movie, like you can find so many people making these kind of movies all the time. Like there are thousands being made every year. Just go to a film festival, you will see it.
Oh my God.
This is not special. Yes. Why this is special, I have no idea. Probably the poster. I think the poster was so well done that it brought people to the movie, and they're like, we've never seen a movie this bad before. This is great. Like, trust me, there's so many every year at these film festivals that have the same jokes, that have the same like jokes that just fail. Like the same exact prostitute type joke that happens in this movie. Like, just you'll see that over and over again, because I don't know. I don't know if they're just horny men in, college. They're like, oh, this would be funny to have this, hooker that's like going to be smart. And like, it's not funny. Like, it's just dumb. This whole thing was dumb.
I feel like I made
and
better
demeaning.
student films back in high school.
Yeah, you probably did.
Was there any aspects you actually liked?
Yes. So here's the thing. I think that this filmmaker could actually possibly make a better film if he had somebody else writing it for him. Because there were moments where I thought, you know what, this guy could make a good grindhouse film. And looking into it, I saw that he actually was into grindhouse films and made some grindhouse shorts. Because in the beginning, there's that scene where he's like driving in the car, and like that totally looked grindhouse to me. Like this could have been a fun grindhouse kind of a movie, and then it just stopped there, and that was it. And then the rest of the movie happened. Because the guy is decent at times with the camera. There are times where scenes are well lit. There are scenes that are well framed. So there are moments early on where I think it could have worked if he had wanted to make it work as a fun bad movie, and he just never did, and I don't know why.
In my head, I'm going through the movie, and I can't think of one scene that was decent. Like the audio was bad in this. The cinematography. I know that you said that there was some good camera work. Maybe I glazed over and missed it.
I wouldn't say it was good. I would say that there were moments, and it was
no.
Like you can tell this person like knew what they were doing, but also like was purposely trying to make stuff bad.
I could give my 15-month a camera, and she could compose shots just as well as this guy.
Yeah, I'm just saying that was what I enjoyed. There was a couple of little like snippets, not even scenes. I would just say the way he lit certain scenes were good. And that was only at the very beginning of the film, and then the rest of the film happened, and it was not. That was literally. I don't think that was it. Oh, I did like the way Carol, I think is her name. She was really pretty to look at.
She was pretty. I will say the one good thing about this movie, I actually did like the other priest with the mustache. I thought he was actually a fairly actor. Sure. Yeah, he was fairly decent at acting, and I would say that was about.
He's an actual actor, so yes, they found money and were able to pay the character actor to come into their movie and play the part of the old priest.
Got him.
Nice. Gross. Yeah.
I'm catching mosquitoes in my garage.
I just didn't need his backstory. That's all. I didn't need like a 50-minute backstory on that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just to make fun of Vietnam Wars, and
yeah, I was like, come on.
I get it. I get it for like 15 seconds. I don't need it stretched on for 15 minutes.
Well, and then they explode his wife.
Flashback.
Yeah, I kind of liked the wife exploding. It didn't make any sense that she's in Vietnam and it's a forest rather than a jungle.
That aspect was funny.
But the actual blood explosion where it transitions, that was actually a pretty good cut and effect. It didn't fit with the rest of the movie.
No, it didn't. It was like out of place. But yeah, sure, I'll give you that. It was good.
No. And then there was a good 80s horror beat when they were doing the exorcism and the actual Velociraptor came out and he's like partially makeupped. That was actually pretty good makeup. Like obviously the actual raptor costume is idiotic, but that makeup where he's just partially transformed and there's this nice like almost Stranger Things style horror beat, that's the one thing I liked. I made a note of that.
Yeah, it was good makeup effect on that scene.
And the dude looked like Dexter too.
Yes, he did look like Dexter the whole time, right? The whole time I'm freaking out. I'm like, God, he looks like Dexter the whole time. Or if he'd be like a good like stand-in double for him.
God, maybe. I can't wait to just watch Dexter.
It's already on.
I'm already over this movie so much.
It was
like
there
were scenes where if you watch for instance where they're doing the seance and what was it? Yeah, they're doing the seance and he starts changing into the Velocipastor.
Right, the scene we're talking about, yeah.
Is that? I thought that was an exorcism that you know what? Screw it. I don't care.
It's the same scene. That's okay.
The hands.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad, but you can see that they're Velcroed to his wrists. Like they're gloves that they put on him. And you could see the Velcro straps. And I'm like, I want to say that they didn't want that to be seen.
I think they wanted it to be seen. It was purposeful.
Well, if it was so... Oh,
I don't have a problem with that aspect of it, honestly. Like that I'm okay with because I've seen a lot of other bad movies do that better. That's the thing. I've seen a lot of bad movies do these kind of things better. That's all.
Right, and that's the thing is it's almost like they were taking all this to a whole new level.
I don't know if they took it to any level, really.
Yeah,
but...
I don't know if they. I think there's worse movies that do worse, and I think there's bad movies that do bad better. I don't know if it stood out in any distinguishable fashion. It just, again, I don't know why this is talked about. I have no idea. I don't know if it's Amazon maybe put some advertising into it, but
it was on
it's
Netflix.
Not distinct in any.
Was it on
way.
Netflix?
It was on Netflix
Prime.
for years.
Oh, it was?
Wow.
Yeah, it was on net. That's where it got its like footing or whatever. Was on Netflix.
Gotcha.
And
missed it there.
Dude, I was like, why? It was like almost immediately after Sharknado started becoming really big. That's when this movie started popping up on
Makes
Netflix,
sense, right?
And I think
if
Netflix
you liked this, you'll like this.
Right. I think that's where Netflix was like,
algorithms.
I'm gonna try and we're gonna try and capture this bad movie what is it thing that people are really into. It's so dumb. I don't know. Maybe if I was like high or drunk, this would have been way more enjoyable.
Or like 16.
And maybe
or you got the cocaine that they, because it was some special 4 times more powerful cocaine.
That's right, yeah.
I totally missed that. Maybe I was drifting off or not paying attention during that scene.
But if you think about it, like a lot of these bad movies, they turn into cult classics, and they do a lot of like midnight showings and stuff like that. This is almost like trying to be that midnight showing movie. And it wants to be The Room so bad. You could tell that it wants to be that way. And
Prague said it. It's a try hard. They were trying too hard to be bad, and it comes across as just not funny. When you like, the funny badness is when you don't realize that this is so bad, or you're like, okay, I didn't think that would hit so funny.
Right.
Not like, oh, I'm gonna choreograph this to be funny because this is so bad, and it's just really stale.
Yeah.
Or keeping a scene and that's messed up, and just like, oh, I'm just gonna keep the messed up scene or something.
And maybe as soon as the very start where it says VFX car on fire and it just insert here, I wanted to turn it off right then.
Yeah, I did too.
I was done right then.
Yep. Same.
So that's not the first time that joke has been done. It's like the 50th time I've seen that happen in a film. It's like, we get all right.
Yeah.
They kept panning to it over and over again. I'm like, I get it. I get the joke. Movie.
But what I was trying to get at with the whole midnight showing thing is, I'm wondering if this movie hits better if you're in a crowd of people that are into it, maybe. Because that's the way that I first...
So much if people laughed at any sequence in this film. It would just get under my skin so badly if they laughed at any... There was nothing... I didn't have a chuckle. I didn't have what they would laugh at. There's my face.
I have no idea. I was so bored.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe they need to watch more bad films, honestly. I think people who watch this and like this and think this is good as a bad film have not seen enough like bad films. Like, go watch some trauma films, watch some like old B-movie classics. God, Creepshow even. Like, just watch bad stuff that's like somewhat entertaining. So much out there. Go to film go to like the those film circuits and stuff and see those. Go to like a talent thing at your local college night. I don't know. Can't even think right now. It's so bad.
It made us all so dumber. We're all so much dumber now because of this movie.
There was times where I was like literally turning from the screen to not watch the same scene, and I would come back and it would still be happening. I'm like, how is it still happening? This one scene, or this one montage of the two of them hooking up over and over again, like just over and over. They keep hooking up. Like, I get it.
The sex.
Yeah, it just keeps happening. I'm like,
that.
Oh, here, let's stroll through the park.
The camera work where they have that Brady Bunch style 9 different split camera.
Yeah, that's when I couldn't. I had to look away. I don't know what's happening.
The montages, they were even worse than Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I was surprised.
Yeah, I felt bad for the actors. They had to keep filming and changing their clothes for all these different vignettes. I'm like,
yeah,
man. But at least Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a good bad movie.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Good bad. I would watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier with my eyes taped open for 2 weeks straight than to watch another 10 minutes of this movie.
Well, the thing about Falcon and the Winter Soldier is they're trying hard, and that's what makes it funny. because they think they're making something good.
Right.
Yes. Okay. All right. Fair point.
It's funny whenever Sam or Bucky speak any lines in the entire show. Yeah, these were just not funny. Like there was a point where he says, Carol tells him that he becomes a dinosaur. It's when he first finds out, and he's like, "But I don't believe in dinosaurs." And I get that idea of it, and they could have ran with that and made jokes of it, but they didn't. They just left it, and then they steamrolled right into the next thing, and it's like, no, you got to let that linger if it's going to be funny.
Yeah, if you're going to have a good joke, work with that.
Because then later on, Carol's like, I don't know much about God. And he's like, don't worry, I don't know much about dinosaurs. And they're like, in those montages, they're researching books where dude's reading about dinosaurs, and she's like reading the Bible. You can work with this and be funny, but instead it's just stuff on screen. And I don't know how you just put stuff to screen without emotion or interesting delivery or sequences. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just thought of my favorite part.
Oh.
Where he yells at her and says, "Hands off me, you Jezebel."
Yes, that was great.
That was it. I was like,
that was about it.
That was the one part of this whole movie that I actually did like. I chuckled. Like, I don't know why. The word Jezebel is funny to me, and it worked.
It's a great word.
That was it. Like, okay, the guy, okay. The fact that the priest tells the other priest, "You need to go where God can't find you," and he goes to China.
Yes.
Which looks like the Pacific Northwest.
Right, it's a typical trope. Yes.
But we know that it's China because they put the words China very big on the screen, and then he looks up and goes, China.
It was at that moment where I realized that this guy was trying to make Austin Powers, and it wasn't working.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because there's a lot of references to Austin Powers in this movie, like the two guys laughing, like the bad guy and the sidekick were laughing the whole time for like 20 minutes. It just never stopped. I'm like, this is literally that scene, only not funny. And it's like that's where I kept thinking, like, is this like some in joke? Like, yeah, I saw Austin Powers that was like, okay, it was funny back then. Like this doesn't work. It came out at all
20 years ago.
Yeah. What is this movie?
So when I went into this movie, I was looking at it like, okay, this is going to be about a guy who's probably going to fight crime as a dinosaur, and that's going to be kind of cool. But they throw ninjas in it. They throw ninjas throughout the whole movie for some reason, and
I think he just made it up as he went. They just on set that day, and they're like, "Oh, what do we do now?
I like ninjas. I'm making a movie that has ninjas in it."
Okay.
And the ninjas were all just a bunch of like white guys, and I think one black guy.
Yep.
It didn't make sense at all.
Spoke English, which is fine, which could be funny. Like there are concepts in this that could actually work and be funny
if you do it right.
Yeah, they were so close. There was a sequence where they do the parents' flashback, and they have more awkward laughing that just goes on for a long time. But once they go past that,
I forgot about that.
And they're in the car, he says, "I'm going to give you some advice." His dad says, "I'm going to give you some advice." And I'm like, he's going to say something like, "If you ever turn into a Velociraptor, do this." And I'm like, okay, that's going to be funny. I'm prepared for it. Right. And he doesn't say that at all. He just literally says, like, if you get lost in the woods, you got to keep your faith. And I'm like, you had such an opportunity to be funny. Yes. At least throw something in there.
It's like at least I enjoyed we're gonna go drive off now and come back and pick you up after priest college. Like, all right, that was kind of funny, but like you didn't need the rest of that whole scene and the heartfelt moments. It was like,
yeah, this movie was just a straight up flatline all the way through.
Yes,
and so many long pauses and takes. There's purposeful long pauses because they didn't know what else to do with the film. So it's like, let's just linger on this moment for like 10 more seconds.
Like one of them, they tried to make it a joke at the end where he's like, "I'm coming to save," and then the one ninja looks at his watch and then he says like, I don't know, something, "Your lives," or something.
I know, whatever his line is, right?
Yeah, I don't care what the line was.
Oh yeah, he says it.
It wasn't funny.
Okay.
It's almost like
the
they were.
"She's fine" scene, and then they kept saying it, and she whispers it, and it shows it on the screen. I'm like, Yeah, I got it the first time. Like, what is this movie? Maybe I do hate it.
Did that doctor look like Matt Smith to you?
A little bit, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah,
Like,
it was once they zoomed in, I was like, okay. It was
Yeah.
weird that he came out and got that used cigarette and smoked it. I don't know. Is that funny? Is that even bad movie or anything?
And even his like Mario light
hat.
beamer
Yeah.
thing, like falling over his eyes and he's being all clumsy, and it's like it's not working. Not working, dude.
It's like when the second in command is actually the dude's brother, and that, I mean, we've seen that. Like, I understand the trope they're going for, but when they did it, you knew that's what he was gonna say, and then he just talks so much. Like, he could have just said it and they could have started fighting, but he didn't need to talk for 15 minutes to set up how he's his brother and all. I was like, what do you? We get it. We get the joke. You don't have to explain the joke to me.
We get the joke.
But you don't have to explain the jokes to the audience.
No.
Well, okay, so I'm curious. What did you guys actually think of the Velociraptor?
I mean, so here's the thing. I've seen that scene. It's famous. It's all over the internet. It's been over the internet for years, so I knew it was coming. So I didn't really think much of it. I was like, all right, I'm going to expect this to happen, and it happened. It was fine. It was like something you would see like 10 years ago on YouTube as a YouTube short, you know?
Okay.
That's what the whole movie felt like, honestly.
It felt like a YouTube short, yeah.
Yeah. Like
I had never seen that scene before. And
bad.
when I did see it, is there a way to take a spoon and scoop your eyes out? Because
I wish.
that was the level that I was at. I was like, okay, this is so bad that like it's not even fun to watch. It's not even really fun to even talk about right now.
It's not fun to talk about. Like, Leprechaun was fun to talk about. Troll was fun to talk about. This movie's not even fun to talk about because it doesn't have anything going for it. Not even.
Well, it sucks too because whenever I was like, okay, I watched the movie, now I'm going to do a little research and background on it. I got bored doing the research and background.
Yeah, it's like there's really nothing to it. The guy just wanted to make a dumb movie. Oh, my guy makes dumb movie. Okay.
Yeah, I came across a bunch of YouTubers who were like, this movie is so fantastic. It is so good. You're going to laugh from start to finish. There's just belly laughing. You're going to love this. I don't even know how to respond to that.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with the three of us. Like, we just like have different tastes than like everybody in the existence of humanity. I don't know.
Maybe that's why we keep getting the thumbs down, because our opinions don't match anybody else's.
Yeah, I mean, people just have bad taste. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
That's fine. Just think people aren't aware of what's out there. I think we've seen too many things.
Yeah, I've seen too much.
There was one sequence, though, where they show the whole movie really fast. They showed the entire.
I remember that, yes.
And all I wrote was, I want that cut.
Yeah, I want to see that cut. That was fine.
It was like 2 minutes and
5
showed
seconds.
The entire movie. Fast forward, let's go.
Yeah.
I just realized we didn't even talk about the pimp either. What was his name? Like Buddy Mermaid or something like that?
Something mermaid.
Yeah,
because he's swimming in
Frankie Mermaid. Yeah,
Frankie Mermaid.
Because
he's swimming in women.
I thought he was actually pretty funny when he was on the confession booth and he was laughing about killing the guy's parents.
Yeah, he was better. Was in the street, that's for sure.
Oh, in the street, that was tough to watch.
It's tough. That was a tough scene to watch for sure. But the confessional scene, yeah, it was okay. And do you know what was weird about that scene is that it felt like they didn't know when each other's lines were coming, so they kept talking over each other a bit.
Oh God, same with
us. Yeah, exactly. It felt like that. Like it felt like listening to our podcast.
Oof! You don't.
I don't know, dude.
A movie version of our podcast.
I like our podcast way more than that movie.
Well, I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. That's what that confessional scene reminded me of. It was like he was trying to react to the fact that this guy killed his parents before he already told him that. It was like, oh boy. Oh boy.
And then he turns into the Velociraptor inside the confession booth and slices his throat or something like that.
Yeah.
which actually was pretty decent makeup. I was like, okay,
Again,
that's
the
okay.
makeup person was one of the better people. I don't know what they were doing on this film.
yeah, they should have done more with that makeup person. They just didn't.
Because
like,
when
dude, this-
Carol gets sliced at the end by a sword, that cut on her chest is pretty good, and then the blood that spurts out while she's talking was actually pretty good. Most of the blood looked like hot sauce, but
oh yeah,
her blood was pretty good.
it looked like Taco Bell hot sauce.
Yeah, because it was really watery.
Really watery blood everywhere. Oh god.
Yes, it was.
I don't know, guys. I say we just cut this one short. There's nothing else to say about this garbage.
You don't want to hope that there's like a sequel to this?
God, no. Please don't tell me that there is.
I have
There
no idea.
probably is.
When he went into the doctor's room, I thought he was going to say that she was pregnant and they were going to have like a Velocipastor baby or something.
I thought they were
That
gonna,
would be funny.
they needed like Velociraptor DNA to save her, and so she was a Velociraptor. I thought there was going to be some connection where she's tied to a Velociraptor.
But it
That's
didn't happen.
It's like, those ideas are already better because already
we need some dino DNA. That would have been funnier.
That would have been funny.
The end of the movie really gave me what was it? Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter vibes.
Oh god, that movie is terrible.
Oh dude, come on.
Oh, god.
That movie deserves medals and Oscars and everything compared to this movie.
I guess so. Yeah. That was another forgettable, boring movie.
But the book
That wasn't even bad. It was just boring.
The book was really good.
I really enjoyed the book. Can we just talk about Vampire Hunter? Screw this other movie.
Vampires? I don't know.
I don't like vampires, but man, I really enjoyed that book.
Do you have any other movie you can compare this to, even like that you've seen?
That's
like,
a good question.
I mean, I can, but they're not gonna be movies that people have seen because they've all been like student film projects that like literally no one but like 5 people have seen. So I know
that I keep jumping back to Sharknado, and that's what I'm pretty much
that's what this reminds you of.
Because I hated Sharknado as well. I absolutely hated Sharknado.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those films.
I don't like a movie that's trying to be purposely bad. That's not.
You can, but you can make those work. That those do work sometimes.
I can't think of one.
Have you ever seen the film Romeo and Juliet?
No.
If you watch that one I say would be something that like they actually did it right. Like, because they know monster stuff. Like they know their background, you know.
Okay.
They get people on the film that are actually like, you know, decent at making monster costumes and stuff and fake blood and I don't know.
Now, would you guys?
And it's a script. It's an actual narrative.
Yeah, then that's makes a difference.
Yeah.
Would you guys consider like the movies like Scary Movie, Not Another Teen Movie, Hero Movie? Would you consider those to be roughly the same, or would you no?
No, those are different types of movies.
Films.
Yeah. Right, they're parodies. They're not turkeys.
No.
Yeah.
But there's even a difference of they're making fun of other movies, but they're doing it not in a terrible way. Like this movie, you could see that they see parts of movies and they're making fun of it. Like, oh, this is my brother. Or there's that sequence where he's reading the one book and he puts the other book on top of it, but it's a smaller book. So they're referencing other movies, but they're doing it in a not funny way. It's like they're just doing it to do it. There's no reason or execution or idea behind what they're doing. They're just literally doing it. Now, like, I'm going to do this because I saw this, and that's the only reason.
I wonder, do you think if they changed the actors and had more of comedic actors in these roles in this movie, do you think that it could have been a bit better?
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't think that's the issue with this. I don't think the actors were bad necessarily. I think that they were just given terrible lines and no one really cared or prepped anything. So they just kind of came to set and like memorized the lines minutes before going on. Is my guess.
It does sound like this movie was made in like maybe 3 days.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It does feel like that.
If I knew that this movie was made in 3 days, I think I would probably have a little more. I would probably go, okay.
Careful.
I know I'm skating.
That's a respect. Yeah.
I would give a little bit to this.
But here's the thing: like, I'm not going to hate on this film because I know that the guy had no intention of making a good film. He was a student film guy who like found some brief fame with one video on YouTube and decided to make it into a feature-length film with no intention for it to be like anything more than that. So fine. That's fine. What I do have a problem with is all these people that are like clamoring to it like it's some cult classic. It's like,
yes,
okay, all right, that's what I hate. I don't hate the film. The film is like, that's fine. It is what it is. I'm bored by it, but I get the intention. But I don't see any reason for it to be praised for being a good cult classic or kind of bad film at all. It's forgettable.
The thing is, you can't go out of your way to design a cult classic. It kind of happens without
exactly
your approval or design ideas or anything. You can't force
the fact that people are trying to make it. It's like,
yeah, you can't be like, this is a cult classic. That's not how cult classics work.
Nope. Right. That's a good call.
I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show is a terrible film.
I was going to reference that.
It's not well made at all.
That is another midnight movie, though. Yeah, but it's got
it's purposely like that because the people behind it, like watch those kind of movies, you know, and we're like, we love those old B movies. Let's make like our own musical version of it. It's like, and they did, and it was fun.
And they have fun with it. You could tell the actors are having fun.
Exactly.
And the script writers are having fun. You could tell no one had fun with this, which boggles the mind if you're going and trying to make fun of stuff or have fun. Shouldn't everybody on the set be having fun and being goofy in some regard? This is business approach to making a bad movie. That's what's so weird.
Ooh, yes, that's very good. I like the way you put that. It's very business approach, and that's what this felt like. Huh.
Like that.
That's why it was.
It's another example if a computer went and said, "How do you make a bad movie?" and they sequence things together. It's just like when a computer made like a really good movie like Dune. Where it's like, oh, this is how you make a good movie. This is how you make a bad movie. Where they both lack personality. They're just on different ends of the spectrum.
We can't mention Dune anymore. Viewers absolutely hated our take on Dune. So.
No, they didn't.
Hated it.
You pitched our Dune podcast to a Dune fan page.
I know. It was what a brilliant place to put that. That episode has over 700 views.
They're just hate watching us now.
Yes.
I love it.
Like, see, I couldn't even hate watch Velocipastor. It didn't make me hate it.
Yeah,
it didn't make me care. It's not I liked it, I didn't like it. It's just it happened, and I feel like I could have spent an hour and 10 minutes sitting there staring at the wall, and it would have been a better hour and 10 minutes.
I kind of did because I was watching out of my eye for most of it because I was so bored. I was trying to watch paint dry.
Yeah.
Because that was more interesting than whatever was happening in this. No. It was still drying from years ago.
It's still drying. It's the
better jokes right now.
It's the watery taco sauce. It's coming down the wall.
Oh God.
Oh my
God. God was a part of this movie somehow.
Yeah.
They didn't even dive more into like a Trey Parker and Matt Stone making fun of Christianity vibe or anything.
Right. I was thinking they were going to do that too, and they didn't.
Yeah.
It surprises me. I thought that was going to be the whole point of this movie.
But I did too, actually.
Did you guys ever see Orgasmo?
No.
Watch Orgasmo. So that was a Matt Parker and Trey Matt and Trey movie,
right?
Before South Park came out, and it was a bad movie, but it was fairly decent. Like it was, but it's like making fun of the Mormon who comes to your house and they need a stunt person to be in there.
No, I remember this film. I haven't seen it, but I know what you're talking about. Yes.
It's actually really decent. It is far better than this movie. And it was made in the early 90s.
All right. There you
Give it a try. You'll like it.
So, I think the question is, would you recommend anybody watch Velocipastor? If they're into bad movies, if they like any kind of, is there any section of the earth that should watch this movie?
Only someone who's had a recent lobotomy.
If I knew a person that I absolutely hated,
I don't even know if it's like that.
I love both. Both are good recommendations.
Yeah.
Like my worst enemy. You know how people say, I wouldn't put my worst enemy through this. No, I want my worst enemy to watch this and feel what I felt. the hate and the anger that I felt watching this awful movie.
The movie doesn't even deserve that.
And
It
also doesn't deserve the turkey designation either, because they're trying to be
I
a
don't
turkey.
think it does.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't a turkey.
That's I think the take. So that's what we're learning.
Yeah.
We're learning that a turkey film actually has a tighter definition. It's not just any bad movie.
Right.
Well, oh goodness. What are we gonna
like
watch?
Figure it out more next week with our next choice.
For example, like every year, for many years, we would have all the friends over for like Friendsgiving, or we called it Nerdsgiving usually on the Friday after. We would get together and watch like just bad turkey film, like just bad films. But they were fun to watch because you get your friends over, you're all kind of full anyways, you don't really care, you're just sitting there having a good time making fun of bad movies. Like wouldn't even have this recommended for that situation.
I was going to
say, my friends to watch that.
Is this a movie that benefits from a crowd?
No, I don't think so. It can't be. The long pauses are so long. Like, what would you do in that moment? I would just be like, I'm leaving. Bye. I'm going over to someone else's house.
Oh, I gotta go to the fridge again and get another beer.
Yeah,
I should be hammered for this.
I think I need a barbecue. Yeah. See you guys.
Burgers are
not even good like drunk jokes though.
No, they're not. That's the problem. So you couldn't even laugh at it like that.
And here we are.
Cool. So that's Velocipastor. I don't know how we talked for 46 minutes about this film. We were trying hard.
It was just like the film. We tried hard.
Definitely trying hard to fill up some time. Look at me now. I'm still talking about nothing at this point, just to fill in just that extra little bit of time. Maybe we can make a full hour. We're only at 46 minutes at this point. Let's just keep going just like this. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
That's how the movie was, though. It's like for some reason they're like, it has to be over an hour. We can't call it a film, and so they're like,
it's an hour and 10 minutes. So it's like, all right, I guess we'll add 10 more minutes to the film because that's what it felt like. The movie ends. It actually does end, but then 10 more minutes do happen for some reason.
What was? So did you?
He cuts his head off. Blood spurts. The Gandhi saying comes up. I'm like, perfect. It's done. Perfect. Okay. But no. 10 more minutes happen.
The mannequin head. I hated it.
I
was sitting there thinking, I wonder if
such an overdone joke.
If I was drunk, would this have been funnier? But it wouldn't have, because they linger. They even throw the head down on the ground, and you're just staring at a mannequin head that looks like a women's mannequin head with a mustache on it. Like that, it didn't even get a chuckle out of me. My eyes were so rolled back in my head that I couldn't even laugh at this stuff.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing where I don't even think I rolled my eyes. Like some movies, my retinas got detached because my eyes were rolling back in my head so much. But those are usually it didn't invoke any emotion in me at all.
No, it didn't. That's what I said. I didn't even get angry. I just sat there and just took it. I just took it. It's like, yeah.
Be the first time, right, Prog? Nudge, 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 nudge.
Well.
Jezebel style. Let's go.
Exactly.
Don't touch me, you heathen, Jezebel.
You heathen.
Oh, boy.
What a night. We're talking about turkey films throughout the rest of the month. What one are we going to talk about next week? We hope there's something in the next movie that's more than Velocipastor, or anything. One particularly funny scene, something that makes me smirk at some point. Who knows what it is? I guess you'll find out with us together next week.
Even if it makes me angry, I would be happier.
And seriously, before we end this episode, please, 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 if you've made it this far in the episode, leave a comment. Tell us what you thought of this movie. I'm being dead serious. I have to know what people think of this movie.
I don't care. But
don't watch it to give us a comment. If you've seen it, by all means, give us a comment. But if you've never watched it, don't watch it to leave us a comment or let us know. Do not put yourself through that.
Yeah, please.
Obviously, we just went 50 minutes at this point, and we barely talked about anything of this movie except for how bad it was. Like, because
nothing really happened. So yeah,
nothing is all that interesting in this movie to really talk about, and I hate that we wasted an entire episode on this.
Alex, it's not like that. Just leave it at that. nothing is all that interesting. Because that's what this film is. It's nothing.
It is. Ugh. Lame.
Cool. Well, I've tried to end it a few times. So to everyone listening, we hope you enjoy. We'll talk to you next time.
Well, I could go about 10 minutes longer if you guys. No, probably got.
Should we talk a little bit longer? I mean, we probably could at this point, just to fill up just that extra little. Okay, adios, y'all.